So we've got a few more things to do to finish off our particle system. So most of these will involve creating some methods where things are going to happen. We're going to put these in individual methods. We're going to have a couple of them that'll happen at the start of the game when we're just setting things up. We'll have a couple of them that'll happen during the update of the game, so in each game loop, and then we'll have one in the draw that takes care of drawing all these particles to the screen. So there's going to be 5 new methods and a few other odds and ends here and there. So let's get to it. Okay, so class is all set. We'll come here to game 1, and then I'm going to add a couple more variables here. The particles are going to be of this class particle sprite. We're going to have an array of them, so particle sprite, open close square bracket, and then particle sprite is the actual class in lowercase p. Again, that's just how the naming convention works. So to look correct, that's what you do. Then integer the maximum sprites. Then I'm going to create a random variable and just call this rand. That's fairly standard to do. And then I'm going to create a Boolean variable called already pressed. We're going to use a key or button press to kick off the explosion, and this will let us know whether it's actually underway. And then we've got these particles, but we're going to make them be of a number of different particle types. So the particle type is actually going to, depending upon what kind of explosion you have, what kind of particle system, that might be different. But there they all are. And then we're going to zoom ahead here. And we've got some other variables here. These are going to be used to set some of those initial parameters that we're going to use as we create our individual instances. And then we've got a couple more variables here, boom and boom pause, that's the bomb, and then key state and key state 01 and pad 01. So then we'll come down here into the initialize method and start this. We're gonna set up our random variable. So rand equals new random, open close paren, semicolon. It's got to be above base initialize, of course. So there it is. Nothing else to do there. Now in our load content, we have load image sprites, but we're going to add a couple more things here. And these, again, there could be a lot of lines here, so we're just going to make these method calls, methods that don't exist yet. So set variable values, open close paren, semicolon, and then a second one here, which is set sprite values. Open close paren, semicolon. Now we need to generate these method stubs. Doesn't really matter which order, so generate method stub. There's one. And generate method stub. There we go. There's the other one. And then I like these down at the bottom, so cut, Control X. And then down to the bottom here, make sure we're at the bottom. There's opening curly, there's closing curly, double check, it's grayed out. And then paste, Control V. Okay, so there's our setup methods. So that's the 2 of them. We'll leave those alone for the moment, and then we'll come back up here to our update method, and we can get rid of this comment here, and then we're going to get the user input like we've usually done. So get user input, that's a method we'll need to create. And now we need a method for the actual playing out of the explosion. So if already pressed, update sprites. Okay, so that'll let us change those positions of the sprites and make the particle system actually do something dynamically. Okay, so these two methods don't exist, so we're going to generate the stubs. There's one, and there's the other. Okay, and then we'll cut these, Control X, and come down to the bottom. And there's those four. So we've got our setup and our actual running ones. We need one more, and that one goes in the draw method. So we'll come back up here, and there's draw, and we'll get rid of the comment. But then we're going to change the color here. We're going to make the background white, so it's a little easier to see this particle explosion. Then we've got our sprite batch.begin and end bookends. And this is going to be slightly different because we're actually going to have some parameters in the sprite batch begin. And that has to do with the transparency on the particles. We want that to work. So we're going to use sprite sort mode.immediate and then blend state dot non-pre-multiplied. Okay, close parend, semicolon, and then sprite batch dot end, which that one's going to be pretty standard. And there we go, that's it. And then between these, rather than putting all those sprite batch draw lines, we're just going to call a method. So draw sprites, there it is. Of course, it doesn't exist. So we'll come in, generate method stub, there it is, and cut it, or highlight it and then cut it, and then come down to the bottom. Okay, there's our 5 methods that we need. That's got pretty much everything, but one more thing we need to add, and that's up here in the load. We need to load this image for the bomb. So there it is, and now we're all set up and we're ready to start our logic for making this particle system work. So we'll see you in the next video.